صلوا على الحبيب صلى الله تعالى على Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Before we start, can all the youngsters come to the phone and all the elders come to the phone, please? Come forward, please. Jazakumullah khair. The youngsters at the back, youngsters, come to the front, please. Welcome to the phone.
No legs. No legs. Of course they got legs.
Azaba, you can come forward, please. Jazakumullah khair. So now before we start the recitation of the Quran, let's make the good intentions. To say to the hadith, niyatul mu'min khayrun min amali, the intention of a believer is better than his actions. So the more intention one made, the more reward he will attain. So you often make the intention that you listen to the Quran attentively for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will sit in at-tahiyyat position as long as possible for the respect and the recitation of the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. آمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشاكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين الله رب العالمين وصدق الله العظيم صلوا على الحبيب
صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله سلام عليك يا حبيب الله منور मेरी आँखों को मेरे शम्स दुआ कर दे मुनव्वर मेरी आँखों को मेरे शम्स दुआ कर दे गमों की धूप में वो साये जुल्फे दुता कर दे गमों की धूप में वो साये जुल्फे दुता कर दे जहाँ बानी अता कर दे बड़ी जन्नत हिबा कर दे जहाँ बानी अता कर दे बड़ी जन्नत हिबा कर दे नबी मुख्तार कुल है जिसको जो चाहे अता कर दे नबी मुख्तार कुल है जिसको जो चाहे अता कर दे मुनव्वर मेरी आँखों को मेरे शम्सो कर दे धूप में वो साये जुल्फे दुता कर दे जहाँ में उनकी चलती है क्या कर दे जहाँ में चलती है वो दम में क्या से क्या कर दे ज़मीन को आसमां कर दे सूर्या को सिरा कर दे ज़मीन को आसमां कर दे सूर्या को सिरा कर दे मुनव्वर मेरी आँखों को मेरे शम्सो दुआ कर दे फ़ज़ा में उड़ने वाले यूं न इतराए निदा कर दे फ़ज़ा में उड़ने वाले यूं न पैदा कर दे वो जब चाहे जिसे चाहे उसे फरमा रवा कर दे वो जब चाहे जिसे चाहे उसे फरमा रवा कर दे मुनव्वर मेरी आँखों को मेरे शम्सो दुआ कर दे गमों की धूप में वो साये जुल्फे दुआ कर दे गमों की धूप में वो साये जुल्फे दुआ कर दे
صلوا على الحبيب صلى الله تعالى على محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. If I recite after me, as-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habib Allah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabi Allah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, Niyatul mu'mini khayrun min amalihi, that the intention of a believer is better than his actions. The more righteous intention one makes, the more thawab and reward the individual will gain. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, we're in the blessed day of Thursday, Shab-e Jumu'ah, the night of Jumu'atul Mubarakah. So try your best to increase your a'mal and actions on this special day and make as many good and righteous intentions. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, like every week, the weekly Sunnah inspired Ijtima of Dawat-e-Islami bil khusus, the speech, it starts with the fadail, the blessings of durood and salawat upon the best of creation, alayhi salatu wassalam. And now we're going to hear the blessing of durood and salawat from the best friend of Aqā alayhi salatu wassalam. What does he mention regarding the greatness of salutations upon the best of creation, alayhi salatu wassalam? And who is the best friend of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, has narrated that reciting durood, reciting salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam erases sins so quickly that even water does not extinguish fire so rapidly. So sins are erased, khataye gunaye mit jati hain, that the sins get eradicated, sins get erased. And sending salam upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is better than freeing necks. What does it mean by necks? Meaning better than freeing slaves. Meaning the time of the Prophet alaihi salatu wasalam, it was a great action to free slaves. Those who were enslaved, to free them, you get for the pleasure of Allah, you get rewarded for it. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu is mentioning that it's greater to recite durood upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in terms of the reward and speciality and fadila than freeing slaves. So alhamdulillah, we have so many benefits of durood upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So we should make it a habit on our daily basis to recite durood upon the best of creation alayhi salatu wasalam. Now today's speech is an important speech. And why is it important? Like every week the bayanats, the speeches are important. But today's speech is about trading, earning halal, earning righteous sustenance, and the blessings of eating halal, and the precautions and the harms and the sinful harms of eating haram. So this is what the brief summary of today's speech is going to be in the light of Quran, Ahadith Mubarakah, and Waqi'ats and stories from the pious predecessors. So in the Ibrahim bin Adham, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he's a very big wali of his time. And he was that wali of Allah ta'ala that in the house of Allah Azza wa Jalla, in the house of Allah ta'ala, it's mentioned, mansoob towards this wali, that he raised or made his legs flat onto the ground. So meaning he stretched his legs. And a voice was heard from the unseen that, is this how you sit in the house of the king? Allahu Akbar. Meaning you are stretching your legs in the house of Allah ta'ala. Is this the adab? Is this the etiquette to sit in the house of Allah Azza wa Jalla? Straight away, Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham put his legs in adab and etiquettes. If you do stretch your legs, it's not sinful. Okay, it's not like there's any sin to it, but it's against adab, it's against etiquettes. That we should sit in, firstly try to sit in the position of at-tahiyyat. If that's not possible, then even sitting cross-legged is also proven from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Even sitting cross-legged. But the afdal, the greater, is sitting in at-tahiyyat position. So Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi was a very righteous man. And he's a famous saint of Allah ta'ala. And he spent a significant portion of his life traveling. Allahu Akbar. So these awliya Allah, they love to travel. And like famously in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Safiru tasihu. Travel, you get healthy. So these awliya ilam, the Anbiya ﷺ, they would travel. Okay? And travel is a great aspect to learn more about the deen. So he narrated that once I spent a night in Baytul Muqaddas, i.e. Masjid al-Aqsa. Subhanallah. Al-Aqsa. During the night I saw two angels. And one of them asked, who is this person? So one out of those angels asked, who is this person? The other one replied, it is Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi alayhi. The first angel said, is it that same Ibrahim bin Adham who has been removed from his station? Allahu Akbar. He's been removed from his maqam. Is it that same Ibrahim bin Adham? The second angel said, why? He's a wali of Allah, he's got a high rank. Why has Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham been removed from his status? The second angel asked. The first angel explained that once Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi was in Basra, he bought some dates from a shop. When he took the dates and left, he noticed a date had fallen. He thought it might be from the dates he has bought. So you're at the shop and there's loads of dates, like when you go to Makkah, Medina, Sharif, and they just place dates at the front. And there is a fear that a date could drop on the floor. So he purchased some dates in Basra and he had the packet in his hand. One date was on the floor. So what he did, he thought it was his own date. He picked it up and ate it. However, this was not his kajur. This was not his date. It belonged to the shopkeeper. It wasn't from those dates that he has actually purchased. Since he has eaten someone else's date, Allah Azza wa Jalla has removed him from his rank. Allah Ta'ala has removed Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala from his maqam, from his status. Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala continued. When I heard about this conversation between two angels, I immediately went to Basra, returned the shopkeeper's date and came back. That night I saw the two same angels again. They were engaged in conversation, speaking to one another. And one said, this is the same Ibrahim bin Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi who has returned the date to his owner, and Allah Almighty has bestowed him his maqam and status back again. Allahu Akbar. Now just think, what do you understand from this? That when it comes to purchasing things, we shouldn't do khiyanat, deception. And unfortunately, in our society, in terms of trading, buying, selling, even going to some shops, and we take something what is not ours, on the day of judgment we'll be questioned about this. And Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adham's maqam was taken away from him for eating a khajur that he thought was his, that fallen on the floor. Allah took his maqam away. And how God-fearing were the awliya Izam, that once he heard that my maqam has been taken away, that I've ate someone else's khajur, someone else's date, it didn't belong to me, he went all the way back to Basra to find that shopkeeper to give him his own belonging. Allahu Akbar. This was the taqwa of the pious predecessors back in those days. Even at this day and age, it's something that doesn't belong to us. What should we do? Like for example, we see money on the road and we pick it up. Oh, it's £10, £20. I'm keeping it in my pocket. Nice munch for me later. Go to the shops, get a burger meal, £10, £20. But are we meant to actually do that? Is that the Shari Hukm? Is that the Islamic ruling? That you find £10 on the street, now okay, we put it in our pockets and we have a munch later. No. The hukam is once you see money on the floor and you pick it up, you have to find his owner. You search for his owner. You see who it belongs to. Even for example, if you want to keep it with you for a couple of days and hopefully you made an announcement and the owner comes back, you give him what belongs to him. Now if no one comes back, what do? You put it in the masjid. You can put it in the masjid. Give it as sadaqah, give it to a sharif fakir. A person that's eligible to take zakat. You give it to such a person. Then from his sadaqah will happen from his behalf. And let's say for example, you've given that £10. And let's say the next following week he comes back and saying that you announced 2 weeks ago that you find £10, that was my £10. You have to still give it him back. You will explain to him that I've given his sadaqah, are you happy? If he says that I'm happy, then that's fine, he's agreed to it. If he says, no, I want my money back, you give him the money back. That's his mal, that's his ownership. But do we actually understand that? A lot of times we might have seen £1, £2, £5, £10 on the street, and we just put it in our own pocket and spent it on ourselves. But Sharia does not allow this. Islam does not allow this. This is why it's very important, this bayan, that we actually understand this properly and comprehend. My dear Islamic brothers, the noble saints of Allah Ta'ala, they have a unique status. They are protected from sins. They can commit sins, but Allah's protected them. Mahfuz. They're protected from sins. But as for the Anbiya, they are ma'soom. They can never commit sins. Okay? So if the maqam of a wali can be taken away, a maqam of a wali, the status of walayat can be taken away. And it can also be given back. Like how we discussed in this waqiyah, in this narration. But when a nabi is a nabi, it can never be taken away. Nabuwwat, prophethood can never be taken away. This is ata'i. It's something which is given out of the fadl of Allah Ta'ala. Once someone is a nabi, the nabuwwat, the prophethood can never be taken away. In comparison to wilayat. In comparison to sainthood. Once sainthood is bestowed to someone, Allah Ta'ala can take that sainthood away if He wants to. Allah Ta'ala can bestow that sainthood back. So this way, something to clarify that when someone's a wali, does he always remain a wali? No. If Allah wants, He can take his wilayat away as well. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Wahab bin Munabbih rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh has stated, there was a person from Bani Israel who repented for all of his past sins, and he continued worshipping Allah Ta'ala for 70 years. How many years? 70. For 70 consecutive years, he worshipped Allah Ta'ala in such a manner that he fasted during the day and stayed awake at night. This is how he worshipped. He did tawbah and his ibadat, he did immensely of Allah Ta'ala. He neither ate luxurious food nor sought comfort in the shade. When the worshipper passed away, someone saw him in a dream. So he did tawbah for his previous sins, repented, and he led such a life like this for 70 years. Now he has passed away. Now someone asked him that, how did Allah deal with you? How was your state after you have left this world? He replied, Allah Almighty took account of my actions and forgave all of my sins, except for one piece of wood that I used without the owner's permission to pick up to clean my teeth. Allahu Akbar. So just one piece of wood he used without the owner's permission. You might think it's a small thing. You might think it's only a little thing. He's only using a piece of wood to clean his teeth. He's doing khilal of his teeth. You might think it's small. But in the sight of Allah Ta'ala, in the court of Allah, it's not small. You're using something that doesn't belong to you. That is not yours. Without his permission, the owner's permission, you're not allowed to take anything. And are being held back from paradise due to this. 70 consecutive years worshipping Allah Ta'ala. But due to this one amal he committed, one action he did, which may even seem so small and minor, using a piece of wood to clean his teeth. But in the court of Allah, in the barakah of Allah, is a major action. It's a big action. And it prevented him from entering into Jannah. Allahu Akbar Kabira. So what do we understand? It's mentioned as well that we have in our minds that those pious predecessors, they were very pious, like I just mentioned, pious predecessors. But let me tell you that they also had families. They also had to earn. Like we have bills to pay, they also had to purchase oil to light the lamps in their house. Yes? They also had to put food on the table. They also had to cook with wood and fire, like we have gas or electric. They also had all of those bills. They had all of the time that they had to earn for their family, look after their family, but still they sacrificed themselves in the way of Allah. Do you know what the big reason was? Is that in comparison to our generation, back in the Salafus Saliheen's time, we have got a lot of distractions. Our mind is on many things at many times. Even such an example, just last week, I was observing someone's phone, his screen time. And the brother showed me the screen time, and just upon Snapchat was 50 hours. On TikTok, 60 hours. This is a week, I'm to week hours. I don't know how they spend. They go to school. Even some may attend the madrasa as well. Where are they getting this time on their phone? How are they getting this time on their phone? And we just think, oh mashallah, we leave them on their devices. We let them stay on their devices. Doesn't matter, he goes to the masjid, he goes to the school, he spends his 7 hours there, couple of hours in the madrasa, but how much time is he spending on his phone? Those people didn't have these distractions. They had that, no, I'm going to learn the deen, ta'allum, seek understanding of the deen. In the time of the Sahaba Ikram, there were two companions who were businessmen. How was their time spent? How would they spend their day? One brother would go and manage the shop, and another brother would go sit in the dars of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Listen to the bayans, learn from Aka alayhi salatu wasalam. At night they would both come, and then the brother that was sitting in the court of Aka alayhi salam would teach his other brother that today I've done this. Then that brother that went for dars the previous day, he would go to earn, and the brother that was earning, he would go sit in the dars. He would go sit in the speech. They would take it in turns. One would go look at the business, one would go look at the dars of Aka alayhi salatu wasalam. Sit in the court of Nabi Pak alayhi salatu wasalam. This is how they learned. Okay? This is why we need to understand that the distractions we have, the useless activities we have, we need to refrain from them. And we need to also be in mind of what our youngsters are doing. Don't just leave them alone on the devices. Once they are left alone, shaitan will attack them. Once you lead them to one side, shaitan will come to them. Waswasas will come to them. Evil actions will come to them. They are not free from waswasa, no matter how old a child is. Even just look at social media, just like YouTube itself. If, for example, you're putting cartoons on, advertisements come beforehand. And the state of those advertisements, ma'azallah, a 6-year-old child is looking at those advertisements. And we think, no, it's only cartoons. But you're not seeing before the cartoons those advertisements? Or you're not seeing what's coming up before that? Or you tawajjuh just on the cartoons? So we need to be very careful with what we are giving or what we are allowing our youngsters to watch, what we are allowing our youngsters to use, and how they are spending their time. Because this is that time that we will be asked about, the how have you spent your time. So we need to spend our time in the way of Allah Ta'ala and in the best way possible. So now Umar bin Salih rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi once said once, I went to the court of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, and I asked him, "Oh Imam, how, may Allah have mercy on you, how does one have a soft heart? Naram dil kaise milta hai?" This is a question he asked, how does someone have a soft heart? Upon hearing this question, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh said, he bowed his head down for a while and then lifted it. Meaning he thought, what should I say to this person? He said, my son, lawful wealth softens the heart. Halal kamana dil ko naram karta hai. Halal kamana, halal maal आपके पास होना ये दिल को नरम करता है. Halal kamai karna. So Sayyidina Umar bin Salih rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh continued. Upon hearing this response, he said, I returned. On the way, I met Sayyidina Bishr Hafi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh and asked him the same question. That, oh noble one, how does one attain a soft heart? He responded by saying, through the zikr of Allah, through the remembrance of Allah ta'ala. I said I visited, now this person is saying now that I visited Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and hearing this, and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal mentioned that earning halal sustenance softens your heart. So hearing this, Sayyidina Bishr Hafi said, okay, whatever Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal said, he has said is the truth. Meaning that also earning halal softens the heart. Now there's many waqiyats about this, about how earning halal and how being a truthful tradesman is an act of ibadah. You know, ibadah is not just only coming to the masjid, reading your salah, reading the Quran, understanding the Quran. This is also azim ibadat. They are also great worship. But also earning halal is ibadat. Feeding your family halal is ibadat. Putting halal food on the table is ibadat. Purchasing clothing from halal money is ibadat. All of these are ibadat. We just only may be thinking, I'm only coming to the masjid, only offering salah. All of these are just ibadats. We don't need to do the rest. No, this is also continued in sawab, also in reward as well. The Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, a truthful, honest trader will be with the prophets, the truthful and martyrs. Allahu Akbar. A tajir, a businessman, a truthful trader, who in his trade he is truthful in what he says and what he mentions regarding his products, he'll be with the Anbiya, with the prophets, with the Siddiqeen, with the truthful ones, and with the martyrs. The Prophet ﷺ mentions, إِنَّ التُّجَارَ يُحْشَرُونَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فُجَّارًا إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّقَى وَبَرَّ وَصَدَقَ. That indeed all traders, all businessmen, will be resurrected on the day of judgment as transgressors. Except, illa, Akali Sada made an exception, except for those who are pious. Who are manittaqa, those who are pious, wa barra, and those who are righteous, and wa sadaqa, and those who are truthful. They will not be raised as transgressors, as fujjar. They will be raised as sinful people. They'll be raised as righteous people. They're very important. Even for example, whatever trade you are in, whatever profession you are in, you must be truthful with your profession. And truthfulness takes you a long way. The Prophet ﷺ said, may Allah have mercy on a man who is gentle when he sells, gentle when he buys, and gentle when he demands. Allahu Akbar. So being soft in your buying and selling. Now referring to a beautiful hadith, inshallah al-Aziz. This hadith is mentioned in many various books, bil khusus in the Sahih Imam Muslim, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. And the narrator of this hadith is Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He mentions that قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله طيب. Indeed, Allah tabarak wa ta'ala is pure. Allah is tayyib. Allah is pure. لا يقبل إلا طيبا. Allah only accepts pure things. وإن الله تعالى أمر المؤمنين بما أمر بها المرسلين. That how Allah has commanded the believers, He's also commanded the prophets. What is that hukm? What is that command? يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات واعملوا صالحا. that, O messengers, eat from pure things and perform righteous actions. وقال تعالى, Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala mentions, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من الطيبات ما رزقناكم, that, oh, those who believe, eat from the pure things what we have granted you. Then, ثم ذكر الرجل, then Dawat-e-Islam mentions regarding the man. Dawat-e-Islam is given an example. The example can't call ke sunnah. Open your ears and hear this example. And this example is a beautiful example. ثم ذكر الرجل. Dawat-e-Islam एक मर्द का तज़किरा करने is mentioned regarding the man. Now ये मर्द क्या कर रहा है? What is this person doing? يطيل السفر. मुसाफिर है. सफर काफी दूर है, मुसाफिर है. يطيل السفر. Ash'as Akbar, on a long journey, with scattered hair, dirty clothes. So Prophet ﷺ mentioned a man, يطيل السفر, on a long journey, Ash'as Akbar, scattered hair, dirty clothes. And you know what he's doing? وَيَمُدُّ يَدَيْهِ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ. Now, वो अपने हाथ Allah की बारगाह में उठा रहा है. He's raising his hands in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And he's saying, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, oh my Lord, my Lord. He's doing dua in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. But what happens to his du'as? Nabi Pak alayhi salam is mentioning, وَمَطْعَمُهُ حَرَامٌ. Uska khana haram hai. His eating is haram. وَمَشْرَبُهُ حَرَامٌ. Uska pina haram hai. His drinking is from haram things. وَمَلْبَسُهُ حَرَامٌ. Uske kapre jo pehen rahe wo haram kapre hain. His clothing that he's wearing from haram means. وَغُذِيَ بِالْحَرَامِ. And his upbringing from haram means. فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ لِذَلِكَ بِالدُّعَاء. कैसे कबूल होगी? How would you think your supplications will be accepted if you are eating haram, drinking haram, upbringing is haram, your clothes that you wear from haram means, forbidden means, how can dua be accepted? Nabi Pak alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, Inna Allah tayyibun, yuhibbu tayyiba. That indeed Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is pure and He loves those who are pure. Nadhifun, He is clean and He loves those who are clean. He is generous, jawad, and He loves those who have generosity. And just to mention regarding the importance of earning halal, there's so many hadiths in Mubarakah. And this is the hadith I'm going to mention here. That the narration regarding this is an Ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu. He mentions that this verse of the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiban. That all people, eat from what in the earth is pure and halal, lawful for you. Then faqama Sa'd. Sayyidina Sa'd radhiyallahu anhu, a companion of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he stood up. And he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, do dua to Allah that Allah makes me mustajab al-da'wat. Do dua in the court of Allah that Allah makes me such a person that my supplications are always accepted. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ya Sa'd, O Sa'd, atib mat'amaka, purify your food, takun mustajab al-da'wat. Then you become amongst those whose du'as are accepted. Allahu Akbar. It's mentioned here as well that if a luqma of haram enters in the stomach of a person, for 40 days his ibadat is not accepted. For 40 days his worship is not accepted. What does this mean? It doesn't mean now for 40 days he abandons his salah, for 40 days the month of Ramadan is there, he abandons the fast of Ramadan, he doesn't do those actions. No, he will still have to do the fasts. He will still have to offer the fara'id, have to offer his prayers, but the blessings will be lifted from him. The barakat will be lifted from him. So refrain from luqma haram, refrain from those actions or those means of sustenance that leads you towards haram. In the hadith Mubarakah by Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, he mentions when a person, إِذَا خَرَجَ الرَّجُلُ حَاجًا بِنَفْقَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ, when the man, he leaves, and he leaves for a need to earn pure sustenance. And وَوَضَعَ رِجْلَهُ, and he places his leg upon his transport. فَنَادَى, and he proclaims, he says, لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ لَبَّيْكَ. نَادَاهُ مُنَادٍ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, and a caller from the sky says, لَبَّيْكَ وَسَعْدَيْكَ وَزَادَكَ حَلَالٌ وَرِحْلَتُكَ حَلَالٌ وَحَجُّكَ مَبْرُورٌ غَيْرُ مَعْزُورٍ. That لَبَّيْكَ, welcome, Sadiq, fortunate are you. And may Allah increase you in halal. Halal be increased for you. Your transport, halal be increased for you. And that your Hajj without any burden, without any difficulty. And the opposite of that. إِذَا خَرَجَ الرَّجُلُ, when the man, he leaves his house for earning haram, earning khabith, things. He places his foot upon his transport and then says, Allah baik, Allah baik. I am here and present. There's no labaik for you. There's no Allahu Akbar. Look how important it is for us to earn halal, feed halal. That every person here is a shepherd. We are all shepherds. Kullukum ra'in. We are all shepherds. What do you mean? Who do we herd? A shepherd herds his animals, isn't he? So who are we herding? Who are we looking after? We're looking after our families. We are herding our families. We are taking care of our families. Meaning, what is the responsibility of a shepherd is to protect the herd. To look after them, feed them, support them, aid them, if they're ill, look after them, guide them. That is the job of a shepherd. This is our job, to take care of our children, to take care of our family. If they're ill, to help and assist them. If any problems, any issue, clothe them, any way possible. And teach them. Ta'aleem. Remember, it's not just only putting food on the table. It's not just only clothing them. It's not just only putting the roof upon their head. It's also to make them a good Muslim. It's also to make them a good mu'min. This is our responsibility. I think we've understood that our responsibility is only putting food on the table. It's only giving them clothes to wear. It's only, for example, just giving them time. But where is that time when there's no ta'aleem for them? When there's no education for them? There's no ma'rifah of Allah for them? And this way goes to my next narration. It's mentioned regarding a wali of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, Imam Zahid, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. He mentions, خَمْسُ خِصَالٍ بِهَا تَمَامُ الْعَمَلِ, that 5 attributes complete the action. 5 attributes, they complete an action. What are those attributes? He mentions, Al-Imanu bi-ma'rifati Allah azza wa jal, having faith in the recognition of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Allah ko pehchanna. That's one. Wa ma'rifatul haq. Haq or sachai ko pehchanna. To understand the truth. Wa ikhlasul amali lillah. And having sincerity in your actions for Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Wal amalu ala sunnah. And acting upon the sunnah. Wa aklul halal, and eating halal. Wa in fuqidat wahidatun lam yartafi'il amalu. Your actions will not be accepted. If one of these 5 are missing, your amal is not accepted. What are those 5 things I'll mention again? Number 1, understanding Allah. Ma'rifah al-imanu bi ma'rifatillah. Having faith in the understanding and recognition of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Number 2, realizing the haqq, realizing the truth. Number 3, sincerity in the actions of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, meaning when you do your amal, when you act, you be sincere, that's only for Allah. Number 4 is that you act upon the sunnah. And number 5 is you eat halal. If any one of those are missing, out of those 5, your actions are not raised in the court of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Then, وَذَلِكَ أَنَّكَ إِذَا عَرَفْتَ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَ, that when you recognize Allah, وَلَمْ تَعْرِفِ الْحَقِّ, and you don't recognize the truth, لَمْ تَنْتَفِئ, this is not beneficial. You recognize Allah, but you don't recognize what the haqq is. We believe in Allah, but you don't know what the right is, what the haqq is. Meaning, what is your aqidah? What is your belief? What is your belief regarding Allah, the Rasul, the angels, the day of judgment, the hashr, the nashr, the kitab, the hisab, everything? What is your aqidah? You know about Allah, but you don't know about the haqq. Then what? لَمْ تَنْتَفِئ, it's not beneficial. إِذَا عَرَفْتَ الْحَقَّ وَلَمْ تَعْرِفِ اللَّهِ, and if you recognize the truth, if you recognize the truth and don't recognize Allah, it's not beneficial. You recognize the truth, you know this is the haqiqat, but you don't recognize Allah. And this example is like for like the Christians who even study about Islam, they know it's the haqq, but they don't recognize Allah. There's this study for about 20, 30 years about Islam, but Allah hasn't guided their hearts towards Islam. Even though there are certain people, the kuffar that do degrees in Islam, they have masters in Islam, PhD in Islam, but Allah Ta'ala hasn't guided their hearts towards the haqq, hasn't guided their hearts towards the right path. وَإِنْ عَرَفْتَ اللَّهَ وَعَرَفْتَ الْحَقَّ. And if you recognize Allah, recognize the truth, but you're not sincere in your actions, it's not beneficial. Allahu Akbar. If you recognize Allah, you recognize the truth, and you are sincere in your actions, but you don't act upon the sunnah, then it's not beneficial. And if you act upon all four, meaning iman bi ma'rifatillah, knowledge, faith in the recognition of Allah, knowing the truth, sincerity and acting upon sunnah, but don't eat halal, lam yakunil aklu min halalin lam tantafi'. And you don't eat halal is not beneficial. So khulasa-e-kalam is that you have to eat halal for all of those previous conditions to be accepted. For all of those previous conditions to be accepted. And it's so important, the awliya-i-izam have fixed this for us. So many waqiyat, so many narrations regarding how the pious predecessors have fixed this for us. And we must spend our time earning halal. It's mentioned in waqiyats as well that when you put a luqma of halal in your mouth, that the purest food is that food from your own earning. You know, what you earn and you eat from that, that is the purest form of food. Undoubtedly, a Muslim professional is befriended by Allah, meaning a person who has a good profession, who earns halal, he is Allah's friend. Allahu Akbar. Now it's mentioned in narration, may the one who starts his evening having been tired because of labor be forgiven on that evening. Allahu Akbar. One who ends up his evening with fatigueness due to labor, may that evening be evening of his forgiveness. You know, sometimes you are earning halal during the day, you come out and you become so tired that for 8 hours I've been working and now I'm knackered, I'm tired. Allah Ta'ala is mentioned in Hadith of Prophet ﷺ that made this evening of your tiredness due to earning halal be a means of your forgiveness. Subhanallah. Jannah is for the one who has pure earnings. The one who earns halal, Jannah is for that person. There are some sins whose expiation, whose kafara compensation is neither salah, nor fast, nor hajj, nor umrah. Their kafara, their expiation is those troubles a person suffered in earning halal. Allahu Akbar. So my dear Islamic brothers, when we live in this world, there's boundaries for us to follow. We are mukallaf, we are restricted to the deen. Whatever Allah has made forbidden, we have to act upon that and stay away from that. Whatever Allah has made halal for us, we can consume and eat that. Now, if there were no boundaries, we would be like animals. If there weren't any boundaries, if for example, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, then you would have been like animals. That's what animals do. Why? Because when Allah Ta'ala created angels, He granted them intellect. So much, but no shahwat, but no desire. He granted them aqal, intellect, but no shahwat. When Allah created animals, He granted them shahwat, desire, but no aqal. That you even see that recently you've seen that these dogs are getting banned in the UK. Even they've been raised by the owners for about 10-15 years, but they can turn around and just bite the hand of the owner off. They have no aqal. They have no intellect. They only see shahwat and see desire. And us humans, we have both. Allah's granted us aqal, Allah's granted us intellect, Allah's also granted us shahwat, desire. If we follow our aqal, follow our intellect, we are like similar to the angels. If you follow our shahwat, then we are similar to animals. Now you think which you follow. Which one do you follow? Are you using your brain? Or are you using your shahwat? And ask yourself this question. Very important, that we must seek halal, earn halal, feed halal, give halal in the way of Allah Ta'ala. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And for what Allah has given them, they spend in the way of Allah. Remember that when you give in the way of Allah, it's not your wealth anyway. Hakikatan, everything's Allah Ta'ala's. Metaphorically, majazan is yours. You say it's my wealth, but it's not your wealth. It's hakikatan Allah's wealth. And Allah is giving you wealth, and you giving in His way. What such big thing is that? You get sawab for it, you get rewarded for it. You get good deeds for it. But very important, again, the summary of today's bayan and an eye-opening bayan is that we must earn halal, feed halal, and we must give halal in the way of Allah Ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant us all the tawfiq to act on what has been mentioned. If there's any mistakes in this bayan, may Allah Azza wa Jalla forgive those mistakes. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant us all the tawfiq to earn halal, eat halal, upbringing upon halal, and everything which Allah Ta'ala commands to follow His boundaries. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
MashaAllah.
Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah, the weekly Sunnah inspiration of Dawat-e-Islami will take place every Thursday. MashaAllah, make good intentions. If you make the intention to come next week, you'll be started to be rewarded now. So make good intention to attend, but also make the intention that you invite to the brothers. Make the intention that you bring the brothers with you, just as much as what you have done. Can't just imagine how stable they are. So with good intentions, MashaAllah, inshallah, always try and come for the Jamaat al-Isha, which is at 8 p.m. And then inshallah, so that will be the Ijtima of God's time. Also, alhamdulillah, so that, as you know, every week we, mashallah, cater, we arrange a food for the brothers that come. And obviously, when we're doing something like this, we need funds for it. We need catering for it. We need money for it. We need something that can help to keep us supporting with this. So we need more and more support in this. Not just money, but physically as well. We need brothers to help us to feed. We need brothers to give us ideas that, okay, why don't we do this? Why, mashallah, there's many youngsters here. Why can't we cater for the youngsters instead one day? Get them something different. But we can only do that if there's manpower to it. Okay? So it's not just about financially, it's also need manpower. So it's a request that if there are brothers that can help financially or manpower, please contact Yasir Bhai and inshallah he will guide you. If brothers wish to do Isali Swab for the family members, also contact Yasir Bhai inshallah, so they'll even guide you in this as well, inshallah. So this weekend, sorry, next week. This weekend, yes, sorry. This weekend, I was right. This weekend, what is this weekend? Can't hear it anymore.
Madani Kafla.
Madani Kafla. We've been announcing it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. We're reminding everyone 2-3 weeks now. And there's only about 9 brothers going. There's over 60 to 70 brothers that have come and gone for the Ijtima. But out of that, there's only 9 to 8 brothers. I think there's probably a little bit more now. Make it 10. So let's make it 13. But yet, out of 60 to 70, only that many brothers can give time. We need to find time. As Ustaz mentioned, earning halal and gaining blessings, living according to the Quran and Sunnah, gaining blessings. It's alright, him announced, but how are we going to make ourselves do that? And the only way we could do that is by learning it. It's not just about him shouting and him explaining and giving the hadith and everything. There needs to be an action towards it as well. And there's only so much we can say and do. Until you yourself individually don't put yourself in that situation to learn, to understand, to adapt accordingly, then nothing's going to change. So my dear Islam brothers, make good intentions. We are the Madani Kafla is going to Coventry, which I think is around about 1 hour and 15 minutes from Nottingham, give or take. 1 hour and 15 minutes, give or take. If you can't travel with us on Friday, then please come on Saturday. If you can't stay the night, not a problem. Come and join us in breakfast, which is around about 10:30 in the morning, and Isha will be around about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Join us to all that time and come back home. We don't have an issue. We want you to come to learn. We're giving all the options there for you to learn. The doors are open for you to learn. And I think the brother's got, a brother actually brought his baby to the Ijtima. I don't think anyone noticed it. The brother's from Wollerton, and he drove from Wollerton with his baby, just so the baby gets used to hearing. Obviously, what else is going to do? It's his love and his jazba that he wants his child to learn the deen of Islam. Now obviously people think, well, baby masjid and everything. It's not a masjid, that's why we didn't say anything to it. But they are Muslim. But look at the love and devotion. I think the baby is only 6 months or 7 months old as well. And he brought the baby, he was sat in the back. He himself was dressed with the Madani libas and the Imam Sharif. And I know he's already purchased an Imam Sharif and a Madani libas for the baby. And he's already worn it on the child and he's took pictures. This is love and jazba for the Deen of Islam. Yeah? And this is the father, obviously. He's not going to be worried about his child, who is going to? No one from the outside is going to worry about you or your children. You have to be yourself. We rely on the teachers at school, we rely on the teachers in madrasa. Alhamdulillah, they can do as much as they can. But until as a parent or a brother or sister, until you don't put time and effort in, there's nothing going to happen. There's no changes. So make good intentions, inshallah. If you can only come for the Saturday, then come for the Saturday. If you can only come for the Sunday, then come for the Sunday. If you only could come for the breakfast, then come for the breakfast. Inshallah, we'll give you that. Come for the breakfast, inshallah. I don't know what the breakfast is going to be, so don't say that I said there's going to be some special breakfast. All I'm saying is breakfast, that's it. I'm not saying there's going to be something special. But yeah, just come, inshallah. Come and learn, inshallah, and there'll be blessings in the household, in your working, in your talking, in whatever you do, inshallah, there'll be blessings, inshallah. Sisters Ijtima take place every Sunday, every Wednesday and Thursday. Sunday is at Faizan-e-Madina. Wednesday is at in Chadwick Road. And then on Thursday is on Rugby Community Centre in West Bridgeford. Try and get the sisters, daughters, nieces to go. Get them to invite the neighbours as well to go with them, and they can learn as well. Inshallah. Also, alhamdulillah, we have quite a good relationship with our community around here. For example, Jiu-Jitsu across the road, that he's allowed us just for the Friday to park our cars there. Okay? And it's just for Friday. Unfortunately, brothers use that parking for today as well. And what's happening that his customers, his business can't park their cars there, which is obviously causing a problem for him. And you know yourselves, as Muslims, we are not the ones that should cause problems to our neighbours. Okay? So please, it's a Madani request. We've had a conversation. He said, look, I don't mind if you park up Jarvis Road, I don't mind if you park on Ashdale. Obviously, you can park on Ashdale, you can park behind Tesco's, not in Tesco's, behind Tesco's. But he's requested, please don't park in front of our door. At least allow my customers to come and park their cars so they can use the building. Okay, so it's a request, please. There's no parking in this car park. Try and park on Ashdale Road or Jarvis Avenue or behind Tesco. There's always plenty of space there. Alhamdulillah, I'm blessed that I always park my car there for Jummah, and there's no problems. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Please don't let us start asking you, brother, move your car. I mean, he did do that 2 weeks ago, and what happened? The brother came towards this door, and the brother asked him to move it, the person there. He said, okay, I'll remove it. So he drove the car out of the car park, and when that person went back into the building, the brother parked it again right in front of the door. And then the brother came into the Ijtima. I don't want to go on cameras and anything like this, but if this is our halat, then there's no point. We've got to realize, are we causing an issue? Are we causing? If he had hatred in his heart, would he accept Islam due to our actions? You've got to remember this. Our job is what? I must try to rectify myself and the people of the entire world. Not the entire Muslims. Muslims and non-Muslims. It works both ways. This is our job to do. But if we're acting like that towards them, are they going to accept Islam? No, they're not. So please keep this in mind. Our neighbours is our responsibility. It's not their responsibility to be nice to us, no. Don't expect that you be nice to them, they'll be nice to you, no. You be nice to them for the sake of Allah, Allah will send you to Jannah. Simple as that. We do it for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah, nothing else. We do not do it for that person who will be nice to again. or when there's a special occasion, they'll give us some presents. No, we do it for the sake of Allah. We follow the Quran and Sunnah, and inshallah, just this is enough for us. Inshallah. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi.
صلوا على الحبيب. The saints of Islam have quoted that whoever recites this Salat al-Nabi at least once on the night preceding Friday, i.e. the night between Thursday and Friday on a regular basis, he will be blessed with the vision of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam at the time of his death, as well as the time of his burial into the grave, to the extent that he will see the noble Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam lowering him into the grave with his own merciful hands. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي الحبيب العالي القدر العظيم الجاه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. It's narrated by Sayyidina Anas radiallahu ta'ala an, the noble Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has stated, whoever recites this durood upon me while standing, then prior to his sitting back, and if he recites it while sitting, then before he stands back, his sins will be forgiven. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. Whoever recites this Salat al-Nabi, 70 portals of mercy are opened for him. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Shaykh Ahmad Salih rahimahullah ta'ala alayhi reports from some saints of Islam that the one reciting this Salat al-Nabi at least once receives the reward of reciting Salat al-Nabi 600,000 times. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin adada ma fi ilmi Allahi salatan daimatan bidawami mulkillah. One day somebody came to the blessed court of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sat him in between himself and Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The respected companion radiallahu ta'ala anhuma was surprised as to who that honored individual was. When he had left, the Holy Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when he recites the durood upon me, he does so in these words. اللهم صل على محمد كما تحب وترضى. The gracious and holiest Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has stated, the one who recites this durood upon me, my intercession will become wajib for him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa anzilhu al-maq'ada al-muqarraba 'indaka yawm al-qiyamah. It's narrated by Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. The Holy Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has stated, for the reciter of the above supplication, 70 angels write good deeds in his account for 1,000 days. Jazallahu anna Muhammadan ma huwa ahlu. Whoever recites the following dua 3 times at night, it is as if he has found Laylatul Qadr. La ilaha illallah الحليم الكريم سبحان الله رب السماوات السبع رب العرش العظيم لا إله إلا الله الحليم الكريم سبحان الله رب السماوات السبع رب العرش العظيم لا إله إلا الله الحليم الكريم سبحان الله رب السماوات السبع ورب العرش العظيم. Inshallah, brothers, please come forth for zikr. Sallu ala al-Habib.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نور الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نور الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله. نور محمد صلى الله. لا إله إلا 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 الله. محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. إلا الله 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 إلا رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. الله 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 الله
To mention a hadith, ليس شيء أكرم على الله من الدعاء, that nothing is more honorable in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than dua. So let's make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of our sins inshallah ta'ala. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa afdalu salatu wa atammu taslim, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا حساب الميزان. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من الشيطان. اللهم أجرنا من الشيطان. اللهم أجرنا من الشيطان. يا قاضي الحاجات اقضي حاجاتنا. يا غفار الذنوب اغفر ذنوبنا. يا ستار العيوب استر عيوبنا. اللهم انصر إخواننا في فلسطين. اللهم احفظ أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اصلح أحوال المسلمين في فلسطين وفي كل مكان يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, the sinful people have raised our hands in your pure court. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we commit sin secretly and publicly. We commit sin day in and day out. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, our entire body is full of sins. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, our heart is completely black. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we look at haram things, we listen to haram things, we walk towards haram things. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, our entire body is full of sins. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, for the sake of your drop of your mercy, Ya Allah, Ya Rahim, forgive all of our sins. Forgive our major sins, forgive our minor sins. Exchange our bad deeds into good deeds. Exchange our sayyi'at into hasanat. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, purify our body. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, purify our heart. Clean our heart, cleanse our heart. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, enlighten our hearts with the nur of the Quran. Enlighten our hearts with the love of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, grant to istiqamah upon the deen. Grant to istiqamah to Fatiha Namaz in the Masjid wa Jama'at. Grant to istiqamah to recite the Quran every day. Grant us all the ability to earn halal sustenance. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant us all the ability to call people to righteousness and put people from evil. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, make us amongst those who are sincere. Make us amongst those who repent excessively. Make us amongst those who do ruku and sujood. Make us amongst those who are pious and righteous. Make us amongst those who are the scholars of Islam. اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين واجعلنا من المتطهرين واجعلنا من الفائزين واجعلنا من المتقين واجعلنا من الراكعين واجعلنا من علمائك العاملين واجعلنا من أوليائك الكاملين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, the brothers are present here. If there are any problems, any difficulties, remove the problems, remove the difficulty. Protect them from an evil eye, protect them from any nazar. Grant barakah in the household, grant barakah in the wealth, grant barakah in the health, grant barakah in the awlad. May the children hafiz the Quran, may the children alim al-deen, may the children mufti al-kiram, may the children coolness to the parents' eyes. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, shower your mercy upon all of us. Grant us all a long and healthy life. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant us all the ability to live our life according to the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, according to the Sunnah of the companions alayhim ridwan. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant us all the ability to live our life according to all the awliya idham, according to the Salaf al-Salihun. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, allow us all to enter Jannatul Firdaus. Allow us all to visit Makkatul Mukarramah wa Madinatul Munawwara جئنا out. اللهم أدخلنا جنة الفردوس بلا حساب. اللهم ارزقنا بزيارة الحرمين الشريفين مرة بعد مرة. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, the brothers and sisters in Palestine. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, they go through difficulty and hardship. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, make it easy for them. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, get them to stay to peace of man. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, aid them from the unseen. Help them from the unseen. Grant them shelter from the unseen. Grant them food from the unseen. Grant them water from the unseen. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, shower your mercy upon them. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, for the sake of the people of Palestine, forgive all of our sins. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant them the highest abode, Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, for the sake of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, grant shifai ajila muslimidra da'ima tu'il. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, grant Masjid al-Aqsa back to the Muslims. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant victory to the Muslims. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, all certainly need this world and enter our gate. Make our gate a garden, the garden of paradise. Allahumma ij'al quburana rawdatan min riyad al-jannah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, all the Muslims that pass away with iman and afiyah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, elevate their ranks. May they gain a garden, the garden of paradise. May they gain rest that I can see. Enter the Lord of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam into the grave. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, grant them all companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, grant us martyrdom under being done. While we bless the revenge of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And grant us all companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, when we are face to face with the angel of death, may our last words be La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Ya Nabi salam alayka, Ya Rasul salam alayka. personally. May your vision be my company, even though I'm far from worthy, even though I'm far from worthy, but I'm blessed to be your ummati, ya Nabi. Salam alayka, ya Rasul. Salam alayka, ya Habib. Salam alayka, salawatullah alayka. I have no good deeds to show for all the days that I have lived for. You're the only one to call for when I hear the knocking at my door, ya Nabi. Salam alayka, ya Rasul. Salam alayka, ya Habib. Salam alayka, salawatullah alayka. Teri jab ke दीद होगी जब मेरी ईद होगी मेरे ख्वाब में तुम आना मेरे ख्वाब में तुम आना मदनी मदीने वाले या नबी सलाम अलैका या रसूल सलाम अलैका या हबीब सलाम अलैका सलावतुल्लाह अलैका तेरी गम में काश अतार रहे हर गली गिरफ्तार गम माल से गम माल से बचाना मदनी मदीने वाले या नबी सलाम अलैका या रसूल सलाम अलैका या हबीब सलाम अलैका सलावतुल्लाह अलैका.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Make your way kitchen next to you, inshallah ta'ala, food will be served in the next
Inshallah, the food is served next door. Please, brothers, try not to leave before eating because there's always a lot of food that's left over. So request for all brothers to please go into next door and help eat.